Hey, welcome to Bending Part 3. I hope you've watched the previous two videos that I put up on this. Lots of good information for you there. And now we're going to take a little bit different direction and go into some more advanced concepts to get into some new ways that you can apply that technique. We're going to break out of the minor pentatonic scale mold and out of the key of C minor, which is what I've been demoing in so far. We're going to move down to A minor, and we're going to use the full A natural minor, also known as the A Aeolian mode scale. And of course, that's the alphabet scale. So the notes are going to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C again. Okay, now in case you don't know that pattern, I'm going to break it down for you later, so don't worry if you don't recognize it. But before we get into this, I wanted to take a moment to invite you again to visit my website, which is at www.jscottguitar.com. I also have a YouTube channel, of course, which you have found because you're watching this video. And then I've got a Facebook page, also J. Scott Guitar, 3 separate words. And that's all music posts. I don't really post there all that frequently, but occasionally I'll share something that floats up on Facebook that I think is interesting. The website is where stuff is really happening, and so if you want information about my lesson program or my repair services, there's some original music for you to listen to, which you can find by clicking on My Music up on the menu bar. And lots of information on my Partscaster building program, my Jam Camp program, and then a lot of blog posts that not only provide pictures of those, the guitars that I build and that the people that I work with build, but also just, any sort of thing that I come across in my musical travels that I think would be fun to share with you. So anyway, let's get into working on the scale stuff, but please do go and check out those resources. Hopefully you'll find some things that will entertain you, and you'll come back whenever I update things. Okay, so let's get into working on some of this stuff. I'm going to focus mostly on the upper octave in this A minor scale pattern, so going from an A note, string 4, fret 7, to the B, C, and D notes on frets 4, 5, and 7, all on string 3, E, F, and G on string 2, frets 5, 6, and 8. Okay, and then finally A, B, C again on string 1, frets 5, 7, and 8. Okay, now let's refresh some of the basics a little bit. It's really a good idea to build the hinge, as I've described it in the previous bending videos, because that's going to let you engage the rotation of your forearm to provide the real muscle when you're trying to, push the string around like this. It's not all down to finger strength. It's really down to being able to use your arm muscles so that the larger muscles are supporting the smaller ones, and that's a good technical fundamental to make use of anytime you think that you can. So that you always, of course, want to bend as completely in tune as you possibly can. And also to go along with this, and this is both strength and hearing related, you want to be able to bend from whatever your starting note is and really nail your target note. Okay, and you also want to be able to bend up very quickly and release very quickly. Okay, when you're using this stuff in a solo, you can bend up and down at any rate you want, whatever you think sounds good, but you need to be able to bend quickly so that you've got the strength to be able to really control your speed and not just be stuck always, moving slowly between one note and another. So, okay. So you look for opportunities then to create different melodies. So if I'm using the 3 notes here on string 1, I could, instead of playing from up to A, B, C and back down, okay, I can play from A up to B and then bend to C. Okay, very different feel. Same kind of thing on string 2. I can play up from E, F, G, F, E, or I can bend from the F to the G. Okay, using the 1 and 2 finger combination there. Same thing can happen here on string 3. Okay, I bent between B and C, and from D to E, and connected all those notes on one string. So, okay, there's a 1-finger bend from the E to the F. Okay, and of course what this is getting us into, since nobody's going to invent any new notes for this, and the scale is what it is, and it fits the chords that it fits, what we're really looking to do is find different, really distinctive ways to play the notes. It's the how you play what you're playing really more in this case than the what you're playing. And of course the how goes a long way towards really helping you to establish a personal sound that, you know, people can recognize whenever they're hearing you play. So super important to get into this stuff. Now, when you work with these things too, you can use these moves along one string to move along the neck to connect to different parts of an extended pattern. Okay, so you start to get into this and you realize that the possibilities are pretty endless. And so, okay, so the main thing is just to get in there and just try stuff, get your hands strong, get your ears sharp, and hey, get to work. Okay, so let's look at the same scale but entirely in a different layout. We're going to play all of the notes instead of moving in a box pattern across the neck and back. We're going to move along the neck using only one string. So in this case, I've chosen to use the 3rd string. We're still playing in the A natural minor scale. So I've got A here at fret 2, B at fret 4, C at fret 5, D at fret 7, E at fret 9, F at fret 10, G at fret 12, and the octave A up here at fret 14. Okay, now there are lots of possible fingering techniques that you could use to move up those notes. One of the best ones, for instance, might be to use 2 fingers and cut the neck up into positions. So I'm going to shift from frets 2 to 4, to 5 to 7, to 9 to 10, to 12 to 14. And I would get something maybe that sounded like this. Okay, so that gives me an opportunity to play really smoothly through the whole thing, to let my hand just kind of easily glide up along the neck. You can play it coming back down as well. It works great that way. Now, if you wanted to, you could do the whole thing with one finger. Let's try it with the index finger. And what I can also do, since the guitar is dialed up with a fair amount of crunch going on, I can also slide between some of the notes like this. Okay, so now again, not following any kind of regular pattern about where the slides were or how often I was picking. I guess I was picking whenever I felt maybe the string was dying away a little bit. But you could do the same thing with your 1st and 2nd fingers together, your 2nd and 3rd fingers together, your 3rd and 4th fingers together. You can lay the scale out along other strings, all kinds of cool stuff that you can do. That's also a great technique for being able to work your way between, for instance, one box pattern like the A minor tonic on string 6, fret 5, and let's say you were working your way up to the A minor tonic on string 5 up here at fret 12. You could slide up or however you want to get up there. Okay, so all kinds of things like that. You can connect the patterns, in other words, along the neck. Remember that the neck is a four-way street. We can move across the neck, going up in pitch as we move towards the floor, down in pitch as we move back up towards the ceiling. Okay, but also up in pitch, moving the hand towards the guitar body. And the other way. Okay, lots and lots of different patterns you can work out. Remember, this all comes under the big heading of just not only, you know, working with your technique and developing bending skills and stuff like that, but also better and quicker and more accurate visualization where the notes are on the fretboard, but also just adding to your musical vocabulary, you know, stocking those shelves with lots of things that you can call up and play at a moment's notice, because that's really going to be a lot of, you know, the basis for what you have to tell us when you're playing your music. Okay, so anyway, some pretty good ideas, I hope, to get all that stuff going. And so remember, always stress the fundamentals, bend and tune, go for efficient use of the strength. You know, definitely consider setting your guitar up for at least one of your guitars if you're lucky enough to own more than one. Set one up with lighter strings to just make acquiring your bending technique a little bit easier, so you're not killing yourself trying to do this on heavy strings. But hey, most of all, have fun. See you next time. String bending video bonus. I forgot to include one of the patterns that I particularly wanted to show you. This is a cool one because it combines the hammer-on technique with the bending technique. We're still working our way up string 3, but of course you can always move back down the string as well. But what's going to go on is I'm going to move up the string note pair by note pair, and I'm going to connect them with this series of moves. Then okay, that's pretty much it, but okay, that was a half step bend, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. That's fun stuff.